Hello, and welcome to Crooked House Gaming. Here at Crooked House Gaming, we like to explore the gameplay of simulation games, usually through a series of Let's Plays. In this episode, we will continue to explore the gameplay of Democracy 4. Democracy 4 is a political sim that lets you choose the role of a world leader and govern a country. If this sounds like something you'd be interested in, be sure to hit that like button. And if you're new here, welcome. And be sure to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any future episodes. Democracy 4 is by Positech Games. This game is in early access, so this game is not yet complete, and the gameplay may have bugs. In this series, we are playing as the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Prime Minister of the United Kingdom serves a 5-year term. We are now in our 3rd year, so let's see how we did. Everything seems to have leveled out. Our problem is our credit rating is worryingly just a BBB. We need to fix this either through growing our GDP or cutting expenditure, increasing taxation. The economic forecast is okay. We are neither in a boom nor a bust cycle. Briefing. Liberal League has been criticizing our government policy on the radio. They are up 4. They are gaining membership. So I'm gonna have to keep an eye on them or they might try to assassinate me. Polls report. Your approval rating is disappointing. If we believe the polls, you would just get 14% of the vote. We're up 1%. We were 13% last term. Royal scandal. There's an urgent policy question that requires your immediate attention. A prominent member of the royal family has been accused of spending a suspicious amount of time with a convicted sex offender, despite that individual's sordid history being well known. This is being described as best as poor judgment, and at the worst, deeply suspicious. How will your government react? Support the monarch. No one expects the government of the day to openly criticize the monarch. It would likely lead to major constitutional difficulties, and would be considered deeply unpatriotic. We should issue a statement that allegations remain simply allegations, and that this is merely guilt by association. Criticize the monarch. How can we possibly stand by and let this happen without comment? Nobody expects your government to call for the royal family's abolition, but at the very least, a strongly worded statement to the effect of such behavior is unacceptable would be appropriate regardless of what the royalists and patriots may think. I'm going to support the monarch because our good queen would take that individual of the royal family aside and give him or she a firm tongue lashing. So I'm going to support the monarch. The patriots approve 7%, the liberals disapprove 7%, the conservatives approve 6%. That's a family affair. Let the queen deal with that. We need to talk to Billy over here. Okay, Billy. You're gonna be fired. Bye. I'm gonna go for Tim Nelson. We need to work on our GDP. Let me take a look at our policies. National Business Council. The establishment of a National Business Council gives a strong voice to business interests and ensure that the needs for business, both big and small, are taken into account. This council is a way to promote capitalism and enterprise and get across the message that corporate world has much to offer. Creates employment and prosperity. Let's try to implement that. I'm going to raise it to about medium. I'll apply the changes. This would help violent crime. This would reduce it. A specialist team of police experts trained to deal with very specific demands of enforcing our national restrictions on narcotics. Trained sniffer dogs, undercover agents, border police all work together to stop the flow of drugs into our country. I'm going to implement this. We do have a problem with organized crime in our country. To do it to about medium, as we have 5 political capital. What do you do? Telecommuting initiative. This affects with trade unionists. The telecoms industry would be happy. Productivity would be up. Parents would be happy. Car usage would be down, which would help our health. It would affect commuter, and commuter membership would go down. Let's try the telecommuting initiative. Telecommuting or working from home is seen as desirable because it reduces the pressure on the transportation infrastructure and can improvement to people's quality of life. It's also welcomed by the parents. This policy offers tax incentives to companies supporting this option. Let's raise this to high. I'm going to apply the changes. We are down to 3 political capital. I'm going to do some science funding. Science funding. In some countries, the majority of research is funded by private companies. State-sponsored science can be useful for investing in long-term research projects or those that may not be commercially rewarding. Benefits of state sector research are freely available to the entire population rather than patented by corporations. This might be helpful. It would help the GDP. Apply the changes. We're all over the board this term. I'm trying to work on GDP and 1 political capital remaining. Gender Discrimination Acts makes discrimination against women illegal, as well as equal rights for women being written into law. The step can be taken to correct historic inequality with positive action. Affirmative actions favors employment, or appointment for women on roles across a full spectrum of labor market and political system. While we are the Labor League, helping out ladies in the workforce would be good for us. So let's do some legal equality. Let's go all the way up to there. It's not costing us anything, and it's going to help gender equality, and the Conservatives aren't going to be happy, but let's try this. We'll apply some changes. We have used all of our political capital for the first term of our third year. Let's hit that button and go into our second term of our third year. We're now in the second term of our third year. Unemployment is down. That is fabulous news. GDP is up. We wanted the GDP to be going up. Skills shortage. Business leaders inform you that there is no longer a noticeable skills shortage in our economy. Our citizens are now sufficiently educated in trade to provide for the economy's needs. Okay, so all of our focusing on technology colleges and grants, that worked in our favor. Polls. The government is not popular among citizens. Only 11% of them intend to vote for you in the next election. Okay, so we are down in that. Tonight's news headlines. I cannot thank the government enough. They literally saved my husband's life. I will vote for the Labor League until the day I die. That is the view of Diana Anderson tonight on the show after she praises the government policy on organ donation for saving her husband after a tragic motor vehicle accident. She, of course, is just one of many who has this policy to thank for saving their loved one. Olympic host. Nothing says international leadership quite like the successful hosting of the Olympic Games, and our Olympics went without a hitch. Co-opting the Olympics oath message of fair play and honor in front of a vast global audience was worth all of the expense, politicking, and handshakes. You are sure the athletes enjoyed themselves too. Foreign relations are up 10%, tourism is up 21%. Our budget report is still bad. International Credit Rating Agency government has a triple B. This is a bad sign, and pushing up the rate of interest we pay our debt, we must address this. Global economy is in a recession, and this is having a negative effect on our GDP. Liberal League has been criticizing the government policy on the radio. They are up 5 and their membership is up, so yeah, it's getting a little bit harrowing. Got rid of skills shortage. Let's take a look at the cabinet. Let me take a look at you, Ben Bailey. Yeah, I'm firing you. So I fired Ben Bailey. He's been on my nerves for a bit. Let's try Henry Torres, because he looks to be the only one with political capital. Seems to have stabled everybody except for the welfare minister. I'm not firing him right now. We have 13 political capital. I want to deal with organized crime. Let's take a look at the Drug Enforcement Agency. Okay, I'm going to raise this 1% one. We could do diplomatic service. That would help our foreign relations. Going just beyond having an ambassador and a secretary in a foreign country, employing a full diplomatic service may be more expensive, but in the field of international diplomacy, you need to stay on top of things in order to get the best deals for your country and to keep everyone involved and happy. It may take some time to get working effectively, but it will boost foreign relations. Let's do something with that. Let's spend some money to maybe make some money for our country. I'm gonna go to high. We have 4 political capital remaining. Prison regime. Liberals have a desire to rehabilitate prisoners to ensure they're capable of finding work and avoiding criminal activity on release. Conservatives see prison as a powerful deterrent where prisoners are punished for what they have done. We'd be giving prisoners a job when they come out. It would be a mere helping our economy. I do see that this is a policy I would like to follow for the Labor League. I'm going to put 3 political power in that. We have 1 political power to spend. Let's put it in the arts. We'll put 1 political capital into art subsidies and make our country look even more cultured than it already is. We have 0 political capital. We are going to be going into our 3rd term of our 3rd year. Let's hit that button and see what happens. We are now entering the 3rd term of our 3rd year as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Nothing has gone down. Health looks like it's going up. International credit rating is still a triple B. This is a bad sign. It's pushing rate of interest we pay on our debt, and we must address this. The global economy is in a recession, and this is having a negative effect on our GDP. The polls report the government is not popular amongst the citizen. Only 12% of them intend to vote for you in the next election. Trade agreement. There is an urgent policy question that requires your immediate attention. A group of Western countries has established an initiative to set up a new trade agreement regulating tariffs, quotas, and other trade restrictions. This contract should help prevent emerging countries from catching up and secure worldwide economic dominance at the expense of global equality. Sign the agreement. Our economic is under stress from new players on the global market. We have to tie closer bonds with old friends in order to emerge victorious in this hostile economic environment. Refuse to sign the agreement. This agreement would support our economy at the expense of global fairness. It is not the time to think about ourselves, but to welcome new players into the global theater with open arms. While new players on the global economic stage would put stress on our economy. New players on the global economic stage also opens up the possibility for us to have new trading partners, which I think is a good thing, because sometimes in the global economic theater, your old friends might become your nemesis eventually. Having more options on the table would be good for our country, so I am going to refuse to sign the agreement. Capitalists are not happy, foreign relations are up, and the liberals are up. The government is not popular among its citizens. Only 12% of them intend to vote for you in the next election. Security briefing. The Liberal League says it actively encourages its members to oppose the current government. There's 6 on a threat assessment, and their membership just keeps going up. I could do intelligence service. I could do press freedom. We need to look at our cabinet ministers. We need to go by. I'm going to hire Melanie Phillips. This made everybody agitated. I'm going to institute a compulsory foreign language. To understand their language is the first important step to understand other people. By introducing a compulsory foreign language class, school kids are taught a selection of foreign languages early on so they can later use them well. This will reduce racial tension while improving foreign trade and relations. I'll do it to about medium. We have 8 political capital to spend. Press freedom. Freedom of the press is the freedom of communication and expression through electronic and published media. This is closely linked to the freedom of speech, which is fundamental human right to communicate opinions and ideas uncensored. Curtailing press freedom negatively impacts democracy, but affords the censor control over access to information. I'm going to do this because it lowers corruption. I'm seeing that as affecting crime in the long run, so I'm applying changes to that. We have 5 political capital to spend. Social care would lower unemployment, would lower healthcare demand, would increase health in our country. Let's do some social care. Melanie Phillips also heads this, so we just hired her. Social care is a package of policies that promote care directly to those in need from the state. This includes daycare and residential care home for elderly who can no longer live alone, care for dementia, and support for women refugees and people with mental health difficulties. We'll raise it to about 2. We have 3 political capital to spend. I don't want to tax airplanes because I'm trying to get people into the country. I could do the junk food tax. I know I just lowered it, but I'm going to raise it back up again. I'm going to say I'm wishy-washy, but I don't care. We have 2 political capital to spend. I did want to do National Armed Forces Week. National Armed Forces Week. Our heroes and protectors need to be recognized. By establishing a National Armed Forces Week, this can be done by celebrating their service for our country and making them feel appreciated and showing the public who these brave men and women are that would risk their lives for our safety. Due to high. We are out of political capital. Let's hit that button and enter our 4th term of our 3rd year as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. We are now entering our 4th term of our 3rd year as Prime Minister of the UK. Let's see how we did. Voters have noted your reversal on position regarding junk food tax and has affected your perception of your trustworthiness. Policy flip-flop. I figured that would happen. Budget reporting. Our credit rating is worryingly just a triple B. We need to fix this either through growing our GDP or cutting expenditure and increasing taxation. Polls do not look good. Our last poll put us at 24% of the vote in the election. We are way up. We're at 12%. Cabinet loyalty. Our ministers can be described as loyal. Their effectiveness is generally considered adequate. A security briefing. The intelligence service report a growing concern about a relatively small extremist religious organization known as Angels of Heavenly Justice. We should keep an eye on their activities. I'm really more concerned about this Liberation League. We have 9 on them. I'm going to put some money into intelligence services. High-tech spy agency. We're going to do 2 points in that. Appoint a senior judge. There is an urgent policy question that requires your immediate attention. One of our most senior and respected judges has died, and we now need to make a choice for his replacement amongst the nominated candidates. This individual will sit in our courts for a very long time, so we must make the right decision. Appoint Edgar Lopez. Edgar Lopez has been a strong supporter of human rights, making many landmark rulings in favor of individual rights and liberties. He is also being seen as a strong pro-consumer and not afraid to challenge large corporations. Appoint Alice Reed. Alice Reed is a household name thanks to her many famous rulings concerning violent crimes and her often unspoken views on harsh sentences that she feels should be applied to thieves, muggers, and shoplifters. I'm going to appoint Edgar Lopez. Edgar Lopez has a more varied profile of his in his judgeship. Edgar Lopez, the socialists are happy with this 14%, the liberals are happy with this 10%, and the trade unionists are happy with this 9%. We got an angry minister over here. Let's take a look at him. Edgar, you know what? You're gonna get fired. Hi. I had a playthrough that I didn't record of the United States. I got an achievement because I was firing my cabinet ministers all the time. Jessie Morgan. She's an environmentalist and a liberal. but she's got 1.6 political capital. She's the only one who's qualified for this job, so we're gonna hire her. And that upsets the rest of them. We should really work on the environment anyways. It'll help our GDP. We need to do something to help the GDP, congestion charging. In many large cities, the number of cars traveling each day is simply unsustainable. Through fairly blunt instruments, simply charging through the number of plate recognition every vehicle that enters the city each day has proven to be an effective way to reduce congestion in extreme cases. This will affect motorists and car uses and traffic congestion, but it will give us some income. We're gonna do it high. We have 0 political capital. So we are at the end of our 3rd year as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. So I'm gonna end our episode here. Thank you so much for stopping by our Crooked House. If you like what you saw, be sure to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you want to follow our future episodes. Feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. Any input really helps us out. Have a great week. See you soon.